Good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Kaufman.
What do you say to a driving instructor who's leaving?
I think goodbye and good luck kind of covered it.
Poor Cavallo used to have a lot of zip, but he's all U-turned out.
What's the new driving instructor like?
Seems qualified. What do I know? He was able to drive himself to the interview, so I hired him.
Monday morning. Cheer up. Could be next Tuesday.
Why, what's next Tuesday? Oh, yeah, the election.
The vote on the school bond issue. Proposition A.
Total destruction. According to today's poll, the school bond issue is going to be voted down 2-1.
That bad, huh?
Now, of all time, when the schools are already desperate for money. I don't know. I hate to even think of the kind of cutbacks I'm going to have to make. The teacher training program, the nursery school program. It's unforgivable.
Oh, hello, Mr. Dixon.
Good morning.
Mr. Kaufman, did you contribute yet to Mr. Cavello's going away present?
I gave it the office.
We're going to give it to him at today's teachers' meeting. I think he'll be very appreciative.
Oh, you have a teachers' meeting. My profound sympathies to both of you.
Oh, no, I think today's meeting is going to be very interesting. Today, Mr. Dragan is going to read his petition supporting the school bond issue.
Oh, another famous Dragan petition.
Yes. And if it's as good as his others, we're going to feature it in the school newspaper.
The school newspaper. Worldwide distribution on both floors of the building. Typical. Well, it's showtime.
See you later.
A petition. Now, what are they going to do? Threaten to hold their breath till they turn blue?
And now another highlight of our meeting. Mr. Kenneth Dragan is going to read us his petition concerning the school bond issue.
Thank you, Mr. Andy. Now, before I begin, I want to remind you that it's still not polished. It needs several cuts, particularly around page 7, but...
You did say page 7, didn't you?
I'm afraid so.
Whereas the school bond issue...
What'd you say?
I said I forgot there was a meeting today. We were going to catch a movie.
You wouldn't be suggesting anything as blasphemous as us splitting, would you?
Right.
You got yourself a deal.
Substituting profoundly interested for extremely interested is well taken, Robinson. Now, let's see.
Let's make a run for it.
Just a moment, Mr. Dixon. Aren't you going to vote?
No.
But this is an important issue.
An important issue? Mr. Dragan, what's the difference what the wording is on a petition that nobody's going to read anyway? With all due respect, aren't we just wasting our time? This is an issue that affects the whole community. And I'm not going to pretend that I'm helping out by sitting here deciding where to put a semicolon. I know you're doing your best, but that's how I feel.
I nominate that man for chairman of our protest committee.
What?
Pete Dixon for chairman.
Thanks, Alice, but that's out. Bad idea.
Why?
Well, first of all, I'm terrible at group things. And second, I have an appointment.
First of all, you're marvelous at group things. And second of all, you're not going anywhere.
I nominate Pete Dixon for chairman. What do you say?
Come on, let's see what he can do.
Pete Dixon is our new chairman.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for your confidence. I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing here, but, well, I am sure about what I feel. We've got an issue on our hands, and we've got to deal with it. But we're not going to deal with it by signing a long, drawn-out petition.
He's right. I wrote it, but the man is right. I say, let's go out on a limb. Damn the torpedoes and full steam ahead. Let's shorten the petition.
Mr. Dragan, that's not exactly what I had in mind.
Pete,
Yes.
this may seem a little far-fetched, but if you really mean business,
Go ahead, Ethel.
why can't we visually demonstrate how we feel? We could write some tastefully worded placards like, vote yes on Proposition A, something direct, and a little personal, and place them on the back of our automobiles.
Why on our cars? Why don't we carry them? See, we take Ethel's signs and we put them on sticks.
Picket signs? You want us to carry picket signs?
No, not picket signs, just signs on sticks. And then the day before the election, in full view of everybody, we walk out of the building, single file, carrying the signs, and then we stroll in an orderly manner straight for the parking lot.
And then what?
Then we'll drive home.
How? I mean, what kind of namby-pamby little display is that, Nardino?
It is not a namby-pamby idea. We'll be carrying picket signs.
That's a typical Nardino suggestion. Why don't you do us all a favor? Shut up.
Look, Benson, you can disagree with what I'm saying, but you gotta defend my right to say it.
No, I don't have to defend your right to say it. As a matter of fact, I don't have to defend your right to say anything. I defend my right to tell you to shut up.
Okay, fellas, cool it. Do either of you have any constructive ideas?
Yeah, I do. Let's strike.
Strike?
Yes, strike. Except for those of us who are going to be too busy marching into the parking lot in full view of nobody.
A strike would get the point across. An organized demonstration showing how we feel.
I say, let's show them the stuff we're made of. And I say, if we have to, let's take the whole lunch hour to do it.
Well, what's that? I mean, what do we have to kill lunch hour for?
Now you're going to make a big deal about missing a measly lunch hour? I mean, where do you eat, Nardino? At the Ritz? We take a couple of sandwiches. We eat them in the line. We put the apple core in the litter basket. Finito. That's it.
Benson, I don't like the idea that every time I make a suggestion, you gotta make fun of me.
Hold it. I'd like to propose that the teachers of this school take an afternoon off, missing a half a day's pay, in order to hold an orderly demonstration in favor of Proposition A.
I second the proposal.
All right, now let's just calm down for one little minute, please, folks. Now, I know all of you do not know me. I'm new here. The name is Yarnell, E-Y Yarnell, Science Department. Now, I have something to say. I am going to say it. I think this young man is being a little generous with our paychecks. Missing half a day's pay. We're talking about money here, mister. Money. Moolah. Dollar bills. And I, for one, am not ready to have someone else decide how they're going to get rid of it for me.
Excuse me, please. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to lose my temper, but, I mean, all this talk about money when there's a principle at stake.
Student teacher.
Science teacher.
And may I add, I don't quite grasp what all the fuss is about. Let's not lose sight of the fact that, well, after all, friends, who are we kidding? This is a bond issue. Bond issue. It isn't as if it were anything personal.
Nothing personal? Oh, look, Mr. Yarnell. Unless this bond issue is passed, the remedial reading classes will be discontinued. Does that personally get to you? Half the nurse's aid program will be cut out. Is that personal enough for you? Is this personal enough for you? When you teach your classes and you're sitting at your desk, you won't have enough textbooks to do your job.
If doing your job is of any interest to you, Mr. Moolah, Mr. Dollar Bills.
Now, see here. I was a member of this profession before you even learned to read, young man. Or should I say, young beatnik?
Beatnik? Whoever says beatnik anymore? That, Mr. Yarnell, is an archaic expression.
What is everybody getting so crazy for? I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. I mean, this whole thing's got me crazy.
What we're talking about is nothing. That's what we're talking about.
What we're talking about is a bond issue in this year's election. These are very scary times. A while back, everything was simple. Right was right, wrong was wrong. But now the fine lines have disappeared and people are uncertain. So they figure maybe if they vote no, it'll all go away and they won't have to think about it. Nervous about what's happening in our schools? Vote no. Can't understand our youth? Vote no. Threatened by revolution and change? Vote no. Okay. The strike isn't 100% right, but it's more right than it is wrong. And nowadays, baby, that's the most you can hope for.
Let's vote.
Amen. Let's vote.
All those in favor?
How did the DAR meeting go yesterday? They give Cavallo a golden steering wheel or anything?
Mr. Kaufman, the teachers of Walt Whitman High are going on strike to demonstrate for the passing of the bond issue.
What?
That's right, a strike.
You're joking. No, you're not joking. You're crazy.
We have no...
Of course you could get up a petition. Now, I know yesterday I was kidding around about a petition, but the fact of the matter is their petition would actually be ineffectual. Oh, boy. Okay. When? I gotta notify the school board.
Starts at noon, the day before election.
Well, why don't you take the whole day? I could get substitute teachers.
Look, I know the position this puts you in. I don't expect you to sanction it. Only try to understand it.
Come on now, Don Quixote. You're not the first guy that ever went riding off on a white horse.
We all have our little windmills.
19 years ago, a teacher named Bob Dressner. They wanted to kick him out on some trumped-up charge. And I was out there, oh boy. Seymour Kaufman was out there, 10 pounds lighter, more hair, marching into the sunset. What did the ledger show when it was all over? 0. Bob gained nothing. And I was out one meaningless gesture. That's all they are, Pete. Meaningless gestures.
Mr. Kaufman, we've decided.
Yeah. Okay. You've had your little say. I'll just sit here in my cell with my bread and water.
Yeah. Well, see you later.
Loneliness is a high school principal.
And I can't decide whether to go to the strike today or to go to my analyst appointment. See, if I go to the strike today, I just feel guilty about not going to my analyst. But what good is missing my analyst today if all I do tomorrow is talk about why I missed the day before?
See, there it is, Mr. Dragon. Alice Johnson under J. I have an assignment. Notify second floor teachers just before the walkout.
I saw it 5 minutes ago.
You know, I've always been a talker. It's so great to be a doer. I wouldn't want any of the other teachers to know, but this is my very first strike.
Miss Tandy? Miss Tandy, forgive me. About those signs. I mean, why didn't you do them in black and white?
Well, I told you, Mr. Benson, the art department is out of black paint.
Oh, okay. But I still think pink and blue and green picket signs going to look pretty spooky.
On the other hand, if I go to my analyst appointment, I'll just spend time talking about how guilty I feel because I'm not at the strike. So what good is that? On the other hand...
And it's at Walt Whitman High School this afternoon.
Oh, I should tell the news department. Could you connect me, please? Thank you. News department, this is a crank caller speaking. I'd like to place an anonymous phone tip.
Oh, sorry to interrupt your lunch, but I wanted to officially bring you the sign-out sheets.
Come in, Trotsky. Sit down. Well, how are the plans going? When do the lemmings start rushing down to the sea?
It's not as futile as all that, is it?
Oh, of course not. A bunch of sign-waving school teachers rushing pell-mell into the streets, whooping it up. It's a real showstopper. Hello? Oh, Lionel. Sorry. Yes, Lionel. Oh, come on now, Lionel. Stop acting like a school board chairman and act like what you really are, an overwrought, crazed hysteric. Lionel, I can't understand you when you scream like that. I can make out the syllables, but I can't tell if it's any recognizable language. Lionel, would you put Andrew on, please? Hello, Andrew? Andrew, would you put Lionel on, please?
See, if I go to the strike today, I'll just feel guilty about not going to my analyst. You've been awfully good about this.
Lionel, I can't stop them even if I wanted to. How can I, in all conscience, ask them not to speak out for something they feel that strongly about?
A sunlit path, a shining tower that framed against the sky. A clock that marks off memories. Yes, that's Walt Whitman High.
And from where we are in the park across from Walt Whitman High School, on this day before elections, ladies and gentlemen, we can hear the voices of these striking teachers. Sir, I wonder if I could have a moment, please. Yes. And what's the name of that song, Mr.
Benson, American and World History.
What's the name of that song, Mr. Benson?
Oh, why, that's called, well, that's I think it's just called Walt Whitman High.
Fine. And what exactly does it have to do with the strike you people are engaged in?
Nothing, really. It's just our school songs.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Benson, American and World History. Sir, could I have a moment, please? And what is your name, sir?
Dragan, Kenneth Dragan.
And you really believe in this strike and what it stands for, Kenneth Dragan?
Oh, I certainly do. I think it's crucially important.
Could you tell our audience why, Dragan?
Well, frankly, I feel that whereas we, the teaching faculty of Walt Whitman High School, henceforth and hereafter known as the staff, and whereas
we feel that Proposition A can make or break education in this county.
The commitment that we make...
Mr. Dragan, thank you very much.
The concept of...
Now, are we going to put dollars and cents ahead of the education of our children?
You can bet your sweet tonsils we are.
Present company excluded.
Yes, for Proposition A. Vote. Proposition A. Vote. Yes, for Proposition A. Vote. Yes, for Proposition A.
Yes, Lionel, chanting, right. Well, because they want to, Lionel. What do you think? Lionel, please, all these phone calls, why don't you do something constructive instead? Like stare at the walls or something.
So you decided to call off your analyst appointment, huh?
No, not exactly. He called me. He had a cold.
And as chairman, you summarized the accomplishments of this strike as...
Well, we did what we felt. And that's about all I have to say. If it makes anybody stop and think, well, great.
Like chickens with their heads cut off, right, pal? That no, Mr. Kaufman? Guess you're glad to be going home away from this circus? I'll walk you to your car.
No, it's all right, Yarnell. Don't bother.
I just had to come down, take a look. Mrs. wanted to join me, get a chuckle or two, you know, but I said, no, honey, you just sit tight, stay home. These people might be dangerous. Anyway, you can see the same sort of thing on the TV set any day in the week. Happening all over.
Yeah. I guess in one way or another it is, isn't it?
They'll burn themselves out. They always do. They did 20 years ago, and they will now. Oh, were you around when we had that big mess in 50? We really got that joker right where he lived. Didn't we, pal?
Proposition A.
Robert, Dresslow.
Proposition A.
Dressner.
Yes.
Robert Dressner.
Vote yes. Proposition A.
Hey, honey,
Vote
how about a date?
yes. Proposition
How about you
A.
and me, huh?
Vote yes. Proposition A.
Don't you talk to her that way, do you hear me? I'm telling you just once, don't talk to that woman that way.
I was talking nice.
Do you have any idea who you're talking to? This is a lady here. Look, Candy, please, they don't appreciate. No one appreciates. Go home, please.
A shining tower that's framed against the sky.
Please, everybody, go home. It's not worth it. It's just not...
Yes, that's Walt Whitman High. So fast, so fast, the days are growing few. Though we'll soon disappear, still our hearts will hear. Walt Whitman High with you. A sunlit path, a shining tower that's framed against the sky. A clock that marks off memories.
Yes, that's Walt Whitman High.
So fast, so fast, the days are growing few. Though we'll soon disappear, still our hearts will hear. Walt Whitman High with you.
Well, I hate to be an I told you so, but 2 to 1 against, right?
Right.
Well, don't let it get you down. In a week, it'll be ancient history. Take care, man.
What does a sudden loss of appetite mean?
Mr. Kaufman?
Yes, Miss Tandy.
Mr. Kaufman, I wanted you and Mr. Dixon to know that even though the strike failed, it was a wonderful day in my life. We did our best, and the feeling was warming. It was very warming.
Thank you for telling us that, Miss Tandy.
How's your appetite now?
morning.
Alice, it's Monday.
I know that.
Well, then how can you be so cheerful?
Beautiful day, beautiful school, beautiful people, beautiful... Who is that?
Student teacher supervisor.
You mean she's the one that decides whether or not I've got it to be a teacher?
That's right.
Oh, boy. She looks so tough. She probably won't like my style of teaching.
What's your style?
I don't know yet.
Don't worry. She'll be crazy about you, just like the rest of us. Well, see you later.
You know, Pete's such a great teacher, it's depressing.
Now, why is it depressing?
Because I'm not even worthy of erasing his blackboards.
Don't underestimate yourself. You haven't even begun yet.
I know, and already I'm scared stiff. Especially after seeing that supervisor.
It's normal to be nervous at first.
Liz, what do you want to be when you're a little girl?
Until the age of 5?
I wanted to be a lady wrestler.
I was very influenced by TV.
You see, I've always wanted to be a teacher. A lot of girls said that, but most of them chickened out.
Chickened out?
Well, you know, they got married or dropped out of ed school. But not me. You know, all this time I've been looking forward to teaching, to being a really great teacher. Now it's here. What if I can't do it?
Has Mary Poppins taken over a class yet?
You mean Alice?
Who else?
Not yet. That comes tomorrow.
Better shape her up pretty fast. The supervisor will be back in a few days to monitor her class.
Well, I've worked it out where she can take over a couple of classes before then. Don't worry. Supervisor will like her. You like her.
I like her. I think she's cute and adorable. Unfortunately, cute and adorable are not exactly the traits one looks for in a school teacher. Pete, let me ask you a question. You think she's got it? Let me give you an answer. No.
Alice may surprise you.
That's the kind of thing you say when you can't think of anything else to say.
She's got a lot of desire.
Desire is a highly overestimated trait. Frankly, I've always had a profound desire to be a ski bum. I don't think I'm going to make it.
Well, Alice will make it.
Maybe. But in my opinion, she's going to need two things to succeed. One is a lot of help from you.
And what's the other?
Divine intervention.
I don't think I should teach today.
Why not?
Because my horoscope said I should avoid taking over any new responsibilities.
Do you have a lesson plan?
What if I freeze up?
Oh, they'll thaw you out.
What if I bore them?
They'll yawn.
I've got a headache, Pete.
Well, that's an occupational hazard. You'll be fine.
Well, yesterday, Mr. Dixon and you were discussing the Indian Wars. Now, in 1876, war broke out again, and the most famous of the battles took place on June 25th at Little Bighorn, where Custer made his last stand. Of course, you all know who won that one. Oh. Al.
Why did Custer lose?
Why did Custer lose? That's a very good question. There were a lot of reasons. Primarily too many Indians.
I thought he came there to fight the Indians.
Yes, but he didn't expect so many. After the battle, the Sioux had a shortage of food and ammunition.
Miss Johnson,
What is it?
why didn't he expect so many? Didn't they have scouts?
Not very good ones. So the Sioux...
Didn't he know the Indians met there every year?
And didn't Custer split off from some of his troops? Why'd he do that?
Yeah, Miss Johnson, why?
Yeah, Miss Johnson, why did he do that?
He wanted to go around the back, maybe.
Think you were honest with him?
What do you mean?
A story you told him about Custer losing.
Well, they asked me. I had to tell them something.
What's wrong with I don't know.
Well, I'm supposed to know. That's why I'm there, isn't it?
Haven't met a teacher yet who knew everything.
What if I didn't give them an answer? Wouldn't they feel I wasn't qualified?
How do you think they feel now? Anyway, nobody knows what really happened to Custer.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I was faking and they didn't believe me.
That's right. There's nothing these kids can spot quicker than a phony answer.
No wonder they didn't believe me. And you didn't believe me. I didn't believe me either.
Well, now that you understand, don't worry about it.
But how can you let me get off so easily?
It was a natural mistake.
A natural mistake? I've committed an educational crime. I mean, what if they had believed me? They would have gone through the rest of their lives thinking that they knew the real reason Custer lost. I promise I'll never do it again.
You'll do great in class tomorrow. I'm just sorry I won't be there to see you.
Why not? Why won't you be there to see me?
I have a meeting.
You mean you expect me to go in solo?
Right.
But I'm not ready to face them alone yet.
You'll have to do it sooner or later.
How about later?
Believe me, one day you'll look back on all this and laugh.
Smile, maybe. Laugh, never. All right, everybody, let's calm down. That's better. Richie.
Where's Mr. Dixon?
Mr. Dixon won't be here today.
Oh.
Now, as you recall, we were talking about the Dawes. What is it, Frank?
May I have permission to leave the room?
The period just began.
This is an emergency.
Oh, all right. All right, now, the Dawes Act was supposed to change the policy toward the Indians for the better. Janet and Debbie. Janet, Debbie, would you please stop talking? Thank you. Yes, Bob.
Could I open a window?
Oh, all right. Now, the Dawes Act broke up.
You better watch your clown.
Please, Bob, I'm trying to teach a class.
Me, it was him. He's nuts. Oh, God.
Wait a minute. Now, where do you two think you're going?
We gotta go to the library and check something out.
What?
The new librarian.
Wait a minute. Now, stop that! Wait a minute. Come back here. Now, listen. Now, come on. Now, we gotta keep this down. Now, stop throwing those papers. Stop it. Now, listen.
Liz. Hello. Hello. Liz, will you get me slide number 14, please? I've had a few complaints about our new sex education course. I want to see what all the fuss is about. Don't you have a class this period?
Alice is taking it.
No, boy. Live and learn. You know, it's against the rules for a student teacher to take over a class alone.
You know that's the only way she's going to learn.
Mm-hmm. One time somebody left a student teacher alone and she completely disappeared. We asked all the students what happened. Nobody would talk.
I don't think that'll happen to Alice.
No, I guess you're right. In her case, the class will probably disappear.
The basic idea was to divide up the land in the reservations. Bernie, was that you?
I'm clean. You want to look? Told you. Oh.
What is it?
I gotta go to the nurse.
Don't believe him. He's always getting sick.
Look, can't it wait till the end of the period?
Sure, but you'll always have me on your conscience. Cause of death, Miss Johnson.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, the brown is kind of like good. What time are you going?
Janet and Debbie. All right, now, the basic problem was, Frank, where did you get my keys? May I have them back, please? Jason, please give me my keys back. Please, may I have my keys? Please? Frank, give me my keys back, please. Please? Jason, may I have my keys? May I have them? Thank you. I'll see you all tomorrow. I hope we get a lot more done.
Well, how'd it go? Alice, what's wrong?
Now, the Summerhill theory is that children basically
want to learn.
It's obvious he never taught at Whitman.
That's an interesting theory.
Well, another meeting of the Student Teachers Association. You kids wouldn't be planning to take over the school, would you?
No, sir.
Too bad. Anytime you want to take over, just ask.
We're having enough trouble just learning how to teach.
No false modesty. I understand you're doing very well. I only wish that when I was starting to teach, I knew as much as you kids do.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Oh, my. This reminds me of when I was a student teacher. Before I'm overcome by a wave of nostalgia, I'll move on.
Wow, you must be doing something right. How'd you do it?
Well, I got a groovy bunch of kids.
Me too. How are your students, Alice?
They're wonderful. Boy, you don't know how fortunate you are. My group would have terrified Attila the Hun. What happened? Well, they really got out of hand until I showed them who's boss. How? First of all, I practiced thinking tough. You're only as tough as you think.
It's power of negative thinking.
Oh, go ahead and laugh. But the enemy can sense it if you're weak.
The enemy?
Well, let's face it, that's what they are.
What are your tactics, General?
Meet force with force. Threaten to suspend them. Scream, whatever's necessary. But don't they hate you? They act like they do. But underneath, they really loved me.
You notice she psychoanalyzed the entire class?
Children are crying for limits. They may object, but they really want them.
These kids are only a few years younger than we are.
Wait until you get in a situation where it's them or you, and see what you do.
Now, when they didn't find gold, they changed the signs to Pike's Peak and Busted. All right, let's hold it down, everybody. I said be quiet! All right. Now, let's get one thing straight. There's not going to be any more messing around in this class. You're looking at the new Miss Johnson. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Did you hear me, Bob?
Yeah.
What?
Yes, sir.
What do you want?
Can I please?
No, you can't. Now.
It was an accident.
One more accident, young man, and you're in big trouble. Now, back to business. Another gold strike was discovered.
I didn't do it.
Get your things together.
It's a frame-up.
Yes.
It wasn't his fault.
You want to be the next to go?
What are you doing in here?
Miss Johnson sentenced me.
Well, she must have had a reason.
Well, it's like that Bogart picture on TV last night. He never killed nobody, but he kept getting blamed.
You didn't kill anybody?
No.
Good.
But I'm innocent. I'm innocent, I tell you. Give me a mouthpiece.
Bob?
I'm sorry.
Hi, Mr. Dixon.
Eyes straight ahead. All right, time's up. Pass your paper to the person in front of you without talking. Good. Now, will the people in the front of the row please bring me the papers? All right. We have a little time. Let's talk about one of the most exciting bunch of people in our history, the cowboys. Now, after the Civil War, the cattle drive came into existence. Who can tell me why? They wanted to make more money by selling beef to the people in the East. Now, to accomplish that, they had to do what? They had to drive the cattle to the railroads. And a whole new group of towns became important. Who can tell me what some of those were? Mary Ann. Bob? Richie. You may go. Class dismissed.
May I have permission to speak?
Oh, come on, Pete. Did you see the difference?
Did you?
They really respected me this time.
That depends on your definition of respect.
But they were quiet.
Sure, you made them afraid to speak. What'd you send Bernie out for?
He dropped a book.
Sit down, Alice. You start sending kids to the VP's office for things like dropping books, you're not going to have anyone left to teach.
But the supervisor's coming tomorrow, and I've got to be in control.
This isn't Folsom Prison. If you're teaching right, you'll be in control.
Pete, why are you so mad at me?
Because I care about you becoming a teacher, and you're not going to get there with these easy cop-outs. You want your students to have some respect for you, then you'll have to start having respect for them.
I was having a really tough time until all of a sudden it came to me. Just the perfect solution.
What?
How do I quit?
Alice, you always make me feel like there's a whole mess of stuff I just missed.
Oh, look, I don't have to teach. I mean, there are a whole lot of other things I could do. Like, well, I could be a topless waitress.
Hey, what happened?
Of course, with my luck, I'll probably catch cold on the first day.
Alice, no jokes, okay? Now, what happened to the girl who wanted to be a teacher all her life? Is she chickening out?
Yes. Look, Liz, I'm just no good. I can't deal with people. Maybe I can still get into social work.
What does Pete say about all this?
Well, he said I was treating the kids unfair. But all I wanted to do was to keep those kids quiet.
Well, do you think he was right?
Of course. Pete's always right. Oh, I just don't have it.
Stand up. I'm the class. Teach me.
Oh, Liz, I mean, you can't be serious.
Hey, are you free after fifth period? Well, I was going down to the record shop.
Liz, what are you doing?
You gonna let me get away with this in your class?
Oh.
You all free after fifth period? Too much! Hey, why
Would
don't
you
we
please stop talking?
and go by my house? I bought this new see-through dress.
See, nobody ever listens to me.
Well, why should I? You sound like you don't want to offend me.
Liz, how do you know if you're interested in what I'm saying if you don't listen to me?
Okay. Now you're getting through to me. Keep going.
Okay. We were talking about the westward movement and the origins of cities like Abilene and Laramie and Dodge City. Now, these places were called cow towns. Can you tell me why?
Must have been a lot of cows hanging around there.
Well, yeah, that's true. But why?
Must have been some bulls, too, I guess.
Well, yeah, there were. But that's not the real reason. You see, these towns were at the end of the cattle trails where the cattle were picked up to be sent back east. And they weren't sent back east to go to school either. So get it on, kid.
Get it on?
Well, I just thought I'd throw that in.
That's very good. Even though I was wrong, you taught me, you encouraged me, and you made me laugh. That is a great combination.
Really?
Really. Listen, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. Everybody does. So accept it. Alice, you got a lot of things going for you. You're bright. You care about the kids. Now, don't be afraid to show them, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Now, go home and get some sleep. And tomorrow, you go in there and you do your thing.
Yeah. But Liz, I'm just so afraid I'm going to mess up.
Don't worry. You won't mess up. Just be yourself.
Sedalia, Chisholm, Western, and Goodnight Loving. Now, what do these 4 names mean? Come on. Somebody must know. Bernie.
I was just scratching my back.
Helen.
They were cattle trails.
Cattle trails, right. Good. What is it, Frank?
Why did they call it the Goodnight Loving Trail?
Well, possibly because it was very romantic.
Oh, come on.
No, I'm not sure. But if you're really interested, there are a lot of good books in the library. I'll see you after class, okay?
Okay.
Now, the greatest problem with the cattle drives was that the steers lost so much weight. What do you want?
Who, me? I was just scratching.
Bernie, do you have a dog at home?
Yeah, why?
Well, it might be a good idea if you borrowed his flea collar. Well, now, anyhow, the cattlemen found that their steers could live on the plains and have the whole place to themselves until something happened. Fred.
The homesteaders moved in.
Right!
And they didn't get along with the cattlemen.
Very good. Now, anybody else? Richie.
Well, that's because the cows kept running over the farmers' crops. But the farmers eventually won.
Why?
I forget.
Come on, anybody know? What about the invention of barbed wire?
Right. Right again, Miss Johnson.
Now, even with the invention of barbed wire, the farmer's life wasn't easy. Jason, get your foot down. Jason. Now, there were droughts in the summer and storms in the winter.
Heavy teacher, huh?
And on top of that, the grasshoppers came along and ate everything in sight. Who knows?
Well, what's the verdict?
Well, she was a little nervous, but I think she'll make it.
So the government opened up the Oklahoma Territory for settlement.
And boy, was there a stampede of people.
Fantastic! Who can add to that? Richie?
Well, within a couple of hours, they grabbed almost all the land.
Right, but now why did the government open up the Oklahoma Territory?
Because the settlers needed more land.
I mean, in other words, this was a good thing?
It sure was.
Was it? Who did they take the land from?
They took it from the Indians.
Right. Now, Frank, can you answer that? The Sioux, right. Anybody else?
It's a modern miracle. Where is she now?
I left her in class.
Mr. Kaufman! Mr. Kaufman, guess what?
You decided to become a nun.
No, I passed. Of course, I couldn't have done it without Pete and Liz, especially Pete. Oh, no offense, Liz.
Alice, you did it all by yourself.
Yes, but I couldn't have done it without your help.
Oh, come on, Alice.
And Liz, that night at your apartment when I almost quit.
Alice, Pete, tell her.
Alice Johnson, you did it all by yourself. You, right?
Right.
Lawrence.
I have several other people to see. We'll be in touch with you.
Just take into consideration that we have the biggest stadium in the Midwest.
Yes, and the smallest library.
But you will be in touch?
No, we'll probably become pen pals. Goodbye.
Bye.
Who's next?
Kaufman, it's good to see you. Good. Virginia was real excited when she knew I was coming here. Real excited.
It's nice. Nice.
I mean, how do you lose touch?
I don't know.
I mean, with people that you were tight with. Tight. I mean, what happened to us, Kaufman? Losing touch like that.
Do I know you?
You're kidding.
I do know you.
We were classmates. I'm Roy Gale, Atlantic University. The Palmer Dormitory.
I did know you. We didn't like each other.
Oh, come on.
No. I distinctly remember you said some rotten things to me. We had a fist fight outside the library.
Well, yeah, but then we shook and we were friends again.
I lost that fight.
Now, listen, Si, I'm recruiting now for
Si.
Atlantic, and you and I have got to lock up Ronnie Moore for our team.
Oh, no, Roy, we don't have to do that. I'll tell you something else, Roy. We're not going to do that.
You'll be flying down with Ronnie Moore this weekend.
Roy, you're going to get in line with 107 other universities that are after Ronnie Moore. Roy.
You know, Al,
You mean the postman?
he ain't so pleasant no more.
Hey, Mama, I'm full.
This may plain shock you, honey, but I wasn't thinking of you. I want to get some breakfast started for Mr. Dixon. They're starting early today. Hello? Well, this is the halfback's mother. Talk to me.
I get it.
Good morning, Ronnie.
Mr. Dixon, have you ate breakfast yet?
You know I don't eat breakfast.
They say, well, look, do me a favor. Tell Mom you want some, because she really wants to do something for you.
Okay. I eat breakfast.
I said I'd tell him. Arizona State is in love with you. Don't laugh. You don't know how many of these calls I've been getting.
I can't help it, Mrs. Moore. You are too much.
Now, there isn't anything in the parent-teacher's manual that says I have to listen to a con like that. You want some breakfast, Mr. Dixon?
I'd love some.
I'll get it. I wish they'd stop calling here. I don't know what to do with them. I just want to be sure the boy gets educated right.
Sick him on Seymour Kaufman. He's talking to the schools that are after Ronnie and having the time of his life.
I don't know what to do with them. I just want to be sure the boy gets...
Morning, Peter.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Kaufman.
Morning, Ronnie.
Oh, hi, Mr. Kaufman. I brought over the letters that I got this morning.
Good grief. I had to volunteer for this. Pete, you just volunteered to help me with these tonight.
Thanks a lot.
So this is Ronnie Moore. Good to meet you, Ronnie. I'm from Atlantic, and we're expecting you out this weekend.
Roy.
Nice to see you, Si. Well, how about it? We'll take care of the plane fare. I can guarantee you 2 great days.
Well, it's sort of up to Mr. Dixon and Mr. Kaufman.
Well, bring them along.
You better get going. You'll be late for your first period.
Oh, Ronnie, Jim Williams has changed his schedule so he can meet you.
Jim Williams?
I'm not exactly excited about going away this weekend myself. But how could I tell Ronnie that I was going to blow his chance to meet Jim Williams?
Telling me you can't see me is no trouble at all, huh?
Yeah, but Jim Williams is...
3-time All-American Atlantic State, 1958, 59, and 60.
No, you knew that.
Oh, I'm full of surprises. Which you'd find out if you weren't canceling our weekend. Pete, this is the 3rd time in a row.
You trying to convince me you're mad?
You're right. I am mad.
No, you're not. You understand.
Pete, have I ever lied to you? I am mad.
I know you too well.
Oh!
Hi, you guys. Hey, I don't make it personal, but did I just hear you scream?
Oh, I was just being understanding.
I see. You're into something. I better go. I don't want to interrupt. Right?
Oh, it's okay, Alice. I just have to go away this weekend, and it threw our plans out of whack.
Hey, listen. I know it's not exactly the same, but how about you and me taking in a movie?
All right. I'll meet you right after 6th period.
Great. Have a good trip, Pete.
Why couldn't you postpone the trip until next weekend?
No way. Jim Williams is going to be there this weekend. And to tell you the truth, I didn't want to blow a chance to meet him either.
Jim Williams, this is Seymour Kaufman.
Howdy do, sir.
Pete Dixon.
Hey, brother.
And the young man we're trying to lure to Atlantic, Ronnie Moore.
Hey, Ronnie. I hear you ran over every team in your league.
Yeah, well, we had a pretty good line this year.
Well, I hope you boys will forgive me if I move off.
We forgive you.
Jim will take good care of you, huh?
Comes out a little strong, doesn't it?
Had you noticed that?
Yeah. Hey, Ronnie, let me show you around. Now, we've got a great program planned out for you, which I think you're really going to
Hey, man, this is something else.
You know Ronnie will be checking some other schools.
Oh, sure. But I'm hoping you'll pick this one. I mean, Atlantic was good for me, and it can be for him.
Just so it's understood.
It's understood.
Okay.
Just wanted to show you what it would look like. Can you dig it?
Hey, man, that's great.
Wait a minute. A little souvenir.
Hey, thanks.
You really should have hit him.
Oh, I like hitting those big... Hi, Mr. Williams.
Oh, hey. Hey, Ronnie, this is Doug Becker.
Hey, how you doing, Ronnie?
Tom Brentani, two of the top juniors on the teams. Fellas, this is the Ronnie Moore.
Oh, we've been wanting to meet you. You had a season and a half out of there on the coast.
Hey, you really ate him up, man.
We could sure use you.
You know it.
Hey, thanks.
Excuse me.
Hey, it's Jim Williams.
This locker hasn't been open since 1960. Retired.
Actually, I just forgot the combination. Anything special you gentlemen would like to see?
Yes. When I went to school here, we actually had classrooms. Now, if they still do, we'd like to see a counselor, please.
At least this place hasn't changed since 1904 when
Mr. Williams.
Oh, wow. How long have I been keeping you waiting?
Almost an hour.
Gee, I'm sorry, Carolyn.
That's all right.
Oh, Carolyn Fletcher, this is Mr. Dixon.
Hello.
Mr. Kaufman.
You.
And Ronnie Moore.
Hi, Ronnie.
Hi.
Ronnie, Carolyn's our freshman queen. She's been selected to show you around the campus.
Oh, yes.
I didn't think you'd mind. Here, take my keys, honey.
It's okay, Mr. Dixon, isn't it? You can fill me in on what the counselor says later.
It's up to you.
See you later.
Come on, what would you like to think?
Oh, anything. I don't care.
I bet he likes that better than the T-shirt.
Listen, I know it's important, but I've got some people with me here now. Tell him I'll be there in, say, 10 minutes. But I'm sorry. Of course, that's only a rough schedule. There would be some changes depending on what the boy wants.
Well, suppose the boy wants to graduate.
I'm sorry, I don't follow you.
Oh, you have him loaded up with electives and very few required subjects.
Well, our players spend 45 hours a week on football. Now, if you dump too heavy an academic load on them at the same time, it's too much pressure.
Are you serious? I have more pressure than this deciding when to eat dinner.
Well, we have a lot of experience with young athletes, and,
How do they graduate if they don't have the required courses?
well, eventually he will have the required courses.
And exactly when will that eventually take place?
I'm sorry, I have an appointment off campus. Well, Mr. Williams, you can set their minds at rest. Oh, please, excuse me.
All right, Mr. Williams. Go ahead, set my mind at rest. It's been needing it for years.
This man is something else, isn't he?
What about this? The schedule.
Well, all I can say is it'll work fine for me. So they must know what they're doing.
Not with a schedule like this, they don't.
Okay. We'll work out another schedule. I mean, like the man said, it's not the last word. Besides, it's Ronnie's decision, right?
While we're on the subject of decisions, I've made mine. And that is, if Ronnie accepts a scholarship from this place, it will be a disaster. What's your decision?
We had 6 black players on the team last year that were all seniors. Only one graduated. Another's back to pick up the required courses that he missed. But he's off scholarship. If you can't play, you pay.
What's with Jim Williams? He's been coming on pretty strong to Ronnie.
Yeah, it was kind of Jim's idea for us to do that little welcome number on Ronnie. He's a hard cat to say no to.
Well, if Ronnie's going to get a raw deal, what's Jim's point?
Farmer, Frentani, Becker, come on. You got 30 seconds. You start doing laps.
Coming. See you.
Thanks.
Mr. Dixon?
Farmer!
Yeah, what is it?
See you.
Okay, everybody in, let's go.
Good morning. Will you look at this place? Maybe someday you can explain to me why he has his own room and you and I have to bunk together.
You better get going, Ronnie. We got a plane to catch.
We've got to wait on Jim anyway.
Why, what's he gonna do, wave goodbye?
No, he's gonna fly back with us.
What for? I just got a twinge in my bones. Either it's gonna rain or he's decided to sign with my alma mater.
Yeah, Dig's gonna halfback for Atlanta University.
I was pulling for rain.
And Jim's gonna fly back with us to get Mom's okay.
Ronnie, I was going to wait until we got back. But you and I have something to talk about right now.
Sure, go ahead.
What do you want out of college?
It's gonna sound like a big ego thing.
What?
Everything, I guess.
What do you mean by everything?
Oh, a chance to play football and to get a degree in electronics.
Hey, Ronnie. Good morning, gentlemen. I guess Ronnie's told you about his big decision.
Yes, we were just standing around here celebrating.
We decided that Atlantic is not the right place for Ronnie.
But why shouldn't he go there?
Yeah, Mr. Dixon, why not?
I'll give you a list later on. But the bottom line is that a lot of players don't graduate. And Atlantic doesn't seem to care one way or the other.
That's a little one-sided, isn't it? I mean, a kid gets out of school only what he puts into it.
I don't want you to think that I appreciate what you've done for me.
Good.
But I've been over just about everything with Jim.
Maybe Jim didn't tell you the whole story. If you want a degree in electronics...
Now, hold it, buddy. Now, what's this about Jim and the whole story?
If you don't mind, I'm talking to Ronnie.
Well, speak your piece. Now, look, I went to Atlantic. I know all the guys were treated well there, and I'll make sure that Ronnie is, too.
See? Jim's gonna look out for me. So everything's cool, huh?
No, Ronnie, it isn't. I think you'll be making a big mistake.
And what do I have to do to convince you?
Try giving him a T-shirt.
Look, we only got about 20 minutes to make it to the airport.
You guys go ahead. There's a plane every 3 hours. I'll catch the next one.
Something wrong?
I just got one more stop to make.
You see, I didn't want to badmouth Jim because he's just doing his job, but Ronnie seems like a good kid.
What do you mean doing his job?
Well, he's a used car salesman in town at McCabe's here. McCabe's one of those big gung-ho alumnus.
Go ahead.
So whenever there's a hot prospect around, and black prospect, he turns Jim loose. That's where the bread, the big car, and the custom threads come from.
Hustling high school kids, huh?
Well, that's the way it goes, man. I mean, after he hurt his leg and couldn't go professional, there wasn't much left he could do.
You never graduated?
No. But did you ever see Jim Williams run with a football?
Yes.
In high school, our coach used to run films of his old games. Beautiful, man. He was beautiful.
How'd he get hurt?
Tore a ligament in the last practice before the Cotton Bowl game. He was the whole team, man. So what do? They shoot him full of Novocaine so he can't feel any pain, right? Third play from scrimmage, Jim's going around in. Boom, the leg gives. Out comes the stretcher, and that was all she wrote.
Finished.
Never played again. Say, do me a favor, will you?
Yeah.
When you tell Ronnie about the hustle Jim's pulling on him, tell him the other two, huh? About how beautiful he was when he was running.
Okay. Thanks.
Flight 14, now disembarking, gate 5. I don't care if Ronnie gets embarrassed or not. He's gonna get hugged.
Oh, there they are.
Everybody but Pete.
Flight 415, now boarding, gate 9. Glad to see you. Look at you.
Hello.
Hi, Mr. Coughlin.
Miss
Hi,
Johnson.
Mr. Coughlin.
Hello.
Welcome home.
Thank you. This is very nice.
How was your weekend?
I suppose you mean, where's Pete? I don't know. He had something to do, but he'll be on the next flight.
Oh, thank you so much. Miss McIntyre, you don't have to take us home. Mr. Williams just went to rent a car.
Okay.
Hey, Mom's gonna give a little party for signing the letter.
I'd like you to come, Mr. Kaufman.
Thank you.
And you too, Miss McIntyre.
I'll be there.
And you too, Miss
Johnson.
Johnston.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Dixon will be there, won't he?
He'll be there.
Hey, you all right?
How's the party going?
Oh, they're going crazy. Waiting for Mr. All-American. Pete, I think after what you told me, you don't have much choice. You gotta keep Ronnie out of that school.
I know. It's the way I may have to do it.
Well, you're on.
Well, we may have our disagreements, but I'll never quarrel over your taste in women.
I want to talk to you.
Look, I'm late already.
This won't take that long.
And you sure are hard-headed. Now what is it?
I want you to lay off Ronnie Moore.
I'm getting this kid a scholarship to one of the biggest schools in the country, and you act like I'm stealing his watch.
Atlantic's a lousy school, and you know it.
And a school is a school. You know they only want us because we play football. We get what we can out of it.
Well, I want Ronnie to come out of it with more than a scrapbook full of headlines.
He'll learn to play football. If he's got any talent, then he'll make the pros.
What if he doesn't make the pro?
What if? What if?
What if he hurts his leg?
Man, if he hurts his leg, it's just too bad. I mean, life don't give you no guarantees.
No, but an education helps.
Helps what? Become a lousy school teacher and make a big 7th hour a year?
I'm doing what I want to do. And they're not going to do to Ronnie what they did to you. I know all about you, Jim.
All right, so I sell used cars, so what? My old man mopped floors. He would have thought selling cars was beautiful. The kids I grew up with are still shining shoes. Or if they're lucky, they found themselves a hustle.
Like you? Only you hustle kids.
Better back off of it, man.
Jim! Come on in, everybody's waiting.
Yeah, I'll be right there, Ronnie. Feel better now? You've had your little say.
Hey, come on! Come on. Hey, Jim.
Hey, good to meet you guys.
Hey, what's happening?
Isn't it wonderful?
Wonderful.
I think it's so important for young people to have athletic heroes setting behavioral standards.
Come on, cooler. Come on, cooler.
Yeah, we've got an occasion here. Now, let's get Ronnie's signature and Mama's approval, and then I'll answer all your questions, all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I never could work the camera. It always comes out. We'll get the picture.
Hope I don't break it.
Okay. Get ready to smile, everybody. Come on.
Hey, man, I'm not going to let you do it.
I told you to back off.
Mrs. Moore, I have something to tell you. I waited until now because...
Mr. Dixon, don't spoil it. Everything's gonna be okay.
Mr. Dixon here has got some crazy notion that Ronnie's going to be shortchanged at Atlantic.
It's something that's funny here. And I want to know what it is. Mr. Williams, you went to Atlantic.
Yes, ma'am.
You played football there.
Yes, ma'am, I sure did.
I'll bet you were a lot like my Ronnie in those days,
Yes, ma'am, I guess I was.
with a head full of all kinds of dreams.
Yeah, sure.
If you had a son like Ronnie, would you send him to get educated at Atlantic State?
Well, ma'am, I'm not even married. And even if I was, it'd be just my luck to have a daughter.
The lady asked you a straight question.
Mr. Dixon here feels that there are a few things that you should know before you sign this paper. One, I never graduated from Atlantic. Two, I get paid by Atlantic State to sign young students onto the team. Is there anything else you want to know?
And what's Ronnie's chances of graduating?
Man, Ronnie is a football player. Atlantic State will give you the only chance cats like us ever get. And that's to play pro ball. Now, you know where that's at, man. Now, what do you say? Huh?
Go for yourself, Ronnie.
Jim, I want to graduate. I'm sorry, but I have to say no. I want my degree. I'm not just a football player.
Okay. Well, you win a few and you lose a few. My last undefeated season was in high school. Thanks very much for the party, Mrs. Moore.
Good night, Mr. Williams.
Good night.
Big Jim Williams.
I don't believe it.
Believe it.
All those schools after him, and he chose Butler Tech.
You should think more of your school. It's a good one.
Oh, I know it is. But I mean, athletes like Ronnie, well, they usually, we hardly ever win.
What are you talking about? 5 wins and 5 losses for Butler Tech. That's like an undefeated season.
Well, I don't know how to thank you. Why don't you come along with me now, and I'll fill you in on the rest of the schedule. Pete, thanks for everything.
My pleasure.
Guys, Hoffman, thank you.
My mother wrote both of you a letter. Well, when you read it, I feel like she does.
Thank you, Ronnie. You remember when they were saying, oh, don't worry, you won't have any problems when we get the supply system on the computer.
Yeah.
We've been trying to get new gym suits for the last 4 months. Every time we order, they send us 4 dozen medicine balls. We have more medicine balls per student than any other high school in the world. And
fewer gym suits.
Right.
Oh, since we're on the subject of supplies, I need some newer history books. The last chapter's got World War II down as a toss-up.
Medicine balls? History books? You two guys really got it rough.
What's wrong with you?
Nothing. I just spent the morning with a screaming 15-year-old and 2 juvenile delinquents, that's all.
Where's Mrs. McIntyre?
What is that?
I don't even want to know.
Well, let's see. It's not elk mating season. What does that leave? Army roll call or the bellow of a wounded parent?
Hey! Where's this Mrs. McIntyre?
Finish your lunch. I'll take care.
No, thanks. I can do it. It's just part of a perfect day. May I help you? I'm Miss McIntyre.
It's about my Sharon. You know they're still waiting for you up in your office if I hadn't come looking for...
Excuse me. Which Sharon?
My Sharon. Sharon Stops. I'm her old man.
Oh. Well, Mr. Stops, if you don't mind, could we talk about this a little later? I was just starting my lunch.
Look, I gotta get back to work. I'm on my lunch hour too, you know. Let's go. I got a mother here. We're all waiting for you. Come on. Mrs. McIntyre.
It's Miss.
Yeah, well, I can tell by just looking at you that you're a very smart girl, but I gotta tell you, for a smart girl, you sure did a dumb thing.
Oh? What did I do?
You put my little girl in the wrong major. I mean, this general thing is all wrong.
But that's what she wanted.
No, she needs college prep. With that general major thing, she can't go to college.
The point is, she doesn't want to go to college.
She wants to go. She just doesn't know it yet.
Have you ever thought about reshaping your eyebrows?
No, as a matter of fact, I haven't.
You should listen to her. She knows a lot about makeup and hair. Well, you should see what she's done for some of her girlfriends.
With reshaped eyebrows, a little more makeup, and a new hairstyle, you could be a completely different person.
Who could I be?
Well, you could be you, only different.
You think I'm pushy?
Is something happening?
Sure I'm pushy, but you gotta be if you want to sell tires. Is that your office?
Yeah.
Let's go, girls. What are you doing, looking for a file? Just give me the form and I'll sign it.
What form?
I know how all your government places work. You got forms for everything. You gotta have a blue copy and a pink copy, but it's only paper. So let's change the paper.
I can do that. But what about Sharon's feelings? She says she has absolutely no interest in going to college. Maybe I'm wrong. Are you interested in going to college?
Yes.
Oh.
Tell her what kind of college you want to go to.
Beauty college.
That's no college. I'm talking about a place where you learn more than about it. After college.
By the way, Mr. Stops, there's no urgency.
I'm on my lunch hour.
Decision is final.
Look, you're the expert. Tell me what you think. This girl, college material or isn't she?
Sharon gets pretty good grades. She probably could make it if she tried a little harder. But there are a lot of other factors that you're not...
Come on, don't hedge on me.
I don't want to go to college. I want to be a hairstylist. Can anybody hear me?
I hear you, Sharon.
This lady's your counselor.
Listening.
All right, McIntyre, go ahead. She's listening.
Sharon, we've talked about this before. If you stay in the general major, you won't be able to get into a 4-year college. Now, it's much better to leave the door open now, because if you change your mind later on, it's going to cost a lot of time and a lot of money.
I know what I want.
See? See how she listens? Tell me, what would it take for her to get into college?
All she'd need are 2 sciences and a language.
All?
Sure. Go ahead and change her program.
Wait a minute, Mr. Stops. I don't want to do anything unless Sharon agrees.
Look, we're her parents, and we want her to go to college. You gonna change your program now?
Sharon, it is possible you change your mind later on and decide to go to college. I don't like doing this if you don't want it. But why don't you give college prep a try?
I told you you're a smart girl, McIntyre.
Thanks a lot, Miss McIntyre.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Oh, hi, Sharon. Hi. What are you doing in here? Oh, I just wanted to finish this comb out, Miss Johnson, and I knew 222 was empty this period. Please let me stay. Okay, thanks.
You really do that great.
Thank you.
You know, you've been in class 3 weeks and you never looked the same way twice. I meant that as a compliment.
Would you mind if I just tried to do a little change right around your eyebrows?
Well, Oh, I guess not.
You know, with your facial shape and bone structure, you could carry some more makeup.
I could?
Mm-hmm. Tell me, Miss Johnson, have you ever wondered what you might look like as a blonde?
No, not really. Well, to be perfectly truthful, one time I did think about it.
You did?
Notice any difference, Mr. Kaufman?
Hey, Kevin, your voice is still the same. What happened to you?
The Sharon Stops treatment.
I hope it isn't contagious. What's Sharon Stops?
She's a student. As a matter of fact, I was wondering, in view of the student-faculty relationship, if ethically maybe I should pay the girl.
Oh, no, Miss Johnson. Ethically, I wouldn't pay her for that.
Have you seen Alice recently?
Why?
Well, I won't spoil it for you. Listen, you know when I'm wrong about something, I'm the first to admit it.
Who are you wrong about?
Sharon Stops.
I was wrong.
No, she's doing great in my class. And I've got to agree with you. I think she could make it in college.
I'm glad she's doing well somewhere.
What's wrong?
Unsatisfactory notices and one out-and-out flunk. All in Sharon's new classes.
Well, how'd she do before?
In the general major, about a B- average.
Any failures?
Not one. Tell you anything? Lamb shanks! Oh, I've been waiting weeks for lamb shanks.
That's nice. They've been waiting weeks for you, too.
Oh, nonsense. They're delicious. Lamb shanks, please.
Hey, McIntyre! McIntyre!
Bye, lamb shanks.
My girl is flunking. Tell me why.
This is idiotic. Ask her.
If she knew anything, she wouldn't be flunking. Besides, you're the expert.
No. She's the expert. I can only speculate.
Speculate.
Look, 4 new courses is a lot to handle.
Too big a change, you mean, or what?
She's got more work to do, and there's much more competition among the kids.
More work. All I got to say to you, Miss McIntyre, is 7 to 10.
And what does that mean?
Those are the hours she's going to be studying every night. All right, Saturday's off. But those grades come up, you hear me? I don't need these. Think a thing out and you can fix anything. Thanks a lot, McIntyre. Tonight, 7 sharp. You hear me?
Daddy, the whole world can hear you. He never listens. Only talks. How can a man like that know anything?
Sharon.
Why do I have to be in this mess anyway? I don't want to go to college. I never did. At least before I was going to graduate. Now I could flunk right out of high school.
Sharon, listen to me.
Why should I listen to you? All you do is take orders from my father. Do you know what you're doing, Miss McIntyre? You're ruining my life. My whole life.
Lunch?
No, Alice, not right now, no.
Well, I'll be right outside here, okay?
Don't let me keep you, huh?
Don't worry about it. The general major was no real challenge to you, was it? I mean, you just kind of loafed your way through. And now with college prep, well, for the first time you have to produce. Sharon, are these a cop-out?
What makes you say that? I mean, what do you know about me anyway?
Not enough, obviously.
Obviously. Thanks again, Miss McIntyre.
Alice. It's wrong, isn't it?
Well, it's,
Well, you see, it started with an eyebrow, and, well, one thing led to another.
I don't get it.
Well, didn't she tell you?
Who?
Sharon Stops.
You mean she did that?
Sure, it's her wig and everything. You know, people are really looking at me differently.
Well, I bet they are. But you know, I'm really impressed.
Except, don't you think it's a little far out? You know, that Mr. Graham asked me out to have a martini with him.
But still, if she has that kind of ability, I wonder how serious she really is about it. You know, it could make all the difference in the world. Hi.
if you're looking for Mr. Schneider, he's in his office.
Well, as a matter of fact, I was looking for you. You got a minute?
Minute? I may be here forever.
What's the matter?
He says I stay here till I get it right. Anyway, what is it now?
Sharon, this thing about being a beauty operator.
I told you. How many times do I have to tell you?
But how do you know that's what you really want?
Look, I work on my girlfriends all the time, and I love that.
But that's not professionally. Now, if I
You mean in a beauty shop? A real beauty shop?
Would you be interested?
Are you kidding?
All right, then. Do you know what an apprentice shampoo girl is?
Yes.
Well, there's a shop that needs one. Now, all you do is learn how to wash hair. But you'd be working with people, and you'd be on the inside.
It'll get me out of this mess. I'd sweep the floors even.
Now, I didn't say anything about dropping any...
Beauty shop? Who needs this chemistry? Miss McIntyre, I don't like this college prep.
Sharon, if it's wrong for you, I'll get you out of it, believe me. But first, I have to be convinced. And incidentally, so does your father.
Yeah, well, I'm already convinced. Do you think I can ever prove anything to my father?
Well, you're 2 bites late, Mr. Stops, but I'll say this. You're good for my figure.
Look, I got a business to keep going. I can't keep running up here all the time.
That's fine, Mr. Stops, because Miss McIntyre has enough to do without your running over here.
What do you know?
Well, we've been talking about it.
What, you need advice now? Who is this guy, anyway?
Pete Dixon.
Oh, Dixon. My Sharon likes you. You can stay.
Thank you.
You ask if I needed advice, Mr. Stops. Well, I'll take all the advice I can get for something as important as this.
Then what about my advice? I raised this girl. When it comes to Sharon Stops, I have put in 16 years of study. Can either of you match that?
No. But Miss McIntyre can bring something to the situation that you can't. Objectivity.
maybe I don't need it.
What's the point, Mr. Stops?
The point is, you want to give her advice, that you get paid for. Getting her jobs, I don't go for that.
Why?
Because I decide those things.
Sharon doesn't have a voice in this, huh?
At her age, what does she know?
That's the point, Mr. Stops. She doesn't know. I thought the job would help Sharon decide what she wants out of life.
You mean today? Or tomorrow? Or the next day? The answers are all different, you know. She changes her mind like her hair color, that kid. Somebody has got to tell her what to do.
You're really that sure you're right, huh?
Yeah.
Then the job should prove it, don't you think?
I think it's a waste of time.
Well, I think it's important. Very important.
Then one of us has got to be wrong.
Careful, dear. I have very sensitive hair. Oh, I wish I had hair like yours again.
You can. It's a wig.
You know, it's getting to the point where you can't count on anything anymore. Take string beans, for example. Up 7 cents a pound last week alone.
Well, of course you'd say that. It just doesn't look like me, that's all there is to it.
I think it looks fine. Very chic.
You do. Well, we'll see about that.
You.
Take a look at this and tell me what you think.
I think it looks great.
You do.
It's like that everywhere these days.
Just a kid. What does she know?
It's just string beans.
Okay,
Be one thing.
I'll recomb
Have you priced
No,
shoes?
no, I'm late now. I'll just have to live with it.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
No sorrier than me.
Your operator will be right with you.
Well, they're not all that way. Of course, all it takes is one of those a week, you know.
You think she'll be back?
Oh, yes, and she'll ask for me.
Well, like around school. All my friends really dug the way I did their hair. But I didn't charge them. It was all for free. But boy, when you do something for people for money, do they ever get fussy? I mean, every single little thing has to be their way. So I quit.
You what?
Listen, it takes 1,600 hours of schooling just to get your license. And the courses, little creepy things like facial muscles and nerves. It's even more boring than Chemistry 1.
I'm saying nothing.
Well, beauty shop's out, college prep's out. Now what?
Look, I'm only 16. Why does my whole future have to be decided now? You think this is easy for me?
I know it isn't, Sharon. That's why I'm here.
I'll tell you what you ought to do.
No, you won't.
You know so much, Miss Smarty Pants. Tell us what you're going to do with your life.
I said I don't know yet. I need time to think.
Like 10 years? Tell her about the horse.
Not a horse, Father, a pony.
One Sunday, I take her to ride the ponies. Well, she wasn't going to do it. So I put her on. And what does she do? Fall off. Cry? You should have heard the fuss. So I think, have you made a mistake? And I say, Arnold, you better find out. Well, the kid wasn't hurt. So I put her back on it. What have you got trophies for? Not just trophies. Ribbons, decorations. She's got a good seat. You know what that means?
Daddy, horses and college aren't the same thing.
Yeah, but I know you. And I know what's best for you. And I don't think she does.
Yeah, but she listens to me. She lets me try things.
Sure, she'd let you try something, the beauty salon. And you quit. Which shows you it was a waste of time, right?
It was not a waste of time, Mr. Stops. Not if she learned something.
You made a mistake. That's learning.
You better believe it. Look, Sharon has to live her own life and find out what she wants for herself.
You think so? Tell her about the broccoli.
Oh, no, not the broccoli again.
Wouldn't touch it. Decided to hate it. I made her try it. Now she loves it.
You're doing it again, Mr. Stops.
What?
You're smothering her.
Me?
Yes, you. If you keep it up, you're going to drive your daughter away from you.
What do you mean?
I mean she has a mind of her own. Why don't you recognize that fact?
What am I doing so wrong?
You're bullying her.
You're keeping Sharon from making her own decisions and her own mistakes. You know, one of these days you're going to put her on that pony and she's going to get off and stay off because it just isn't what she wants.
She's right, Daddy.
I only want what's best for you.
I know that.
Come on now. Who really knows what's best for his little girl?
I do. From now on, I'm going to tell me what to do. You're not going to tell me what to do anymore.
All right. All right. So tell me, you want college or not?
I haven't made up my mind yet. Okay.
Okay, what?
I've made up my mind. I want college.
Just like that.
I know my little girl, McIntyre.
Well, this isn't over yet. There's a small matter of grades, remember? Sharon's schoolwork is still below par.
I guess I'll just have to work a little bit harder.
What do you mean, guess? Come on. Let's go home and put you back to work. Like when you fell off the horse, your old man's gonna put you back up there again.
Daddy.
All right. Help put you back up there again.
Okay.
No hard feelings, right, McIntyre?
Don't mention it, folks. No trouble at all.
Oh, Pete! You can send a couple of students down to the supply room to pick up your new history textbooks.
Well, thank you, Mr. Kaufman.
No, don't thank me. Thank the computer. I asked for 400 bars of soap. They sent me 200 history textbooks. See you tomorrow.
Okay, goodbye.
There goes Mr. Graham. He hasn't asked me to have a martini with him since I took off Sharon's wig.
How's Sharon doing in her new classes anyway?
Well, I don't know if she's going to make it yet, but she sure is trying a lot harder.
She doesn't seem so interested in all that beauty stuff. She hasn't mentioned my eyebrows in a month.
Are you sorry you're not still a blonde?
You know, you did have a certain something there.
Yeah, sure did. Somebody called it false advertising.
Bonnie, get me Carl Wilson in the superintendent's office. Please. You want to see me?
Just for a second.
Come on.
Oh, boy.
Line 1, Mr. Kaufman. Mr. Wilson.
This is something else. This is really something else. Hello, Carl. Carl. Look, I'm afraid it can't be done. No, that would be 5 more in each room, and that would... Yes, I can hold Carl. These geniuses downtown, they think they can just send over the desks and we can shove them in the rooms with a kid attached to each one. Now, look, Carl, you know what we're running here now, don't you? We're anywhere from 4 to 6 over the limit. How many is Lowell taking? How many to Garfield? Oh, big deal, Carl. 10 less. 10... Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Because Lowell and Garfield didn't squawk, I'm supposed to take 385 transfers as calmly as if they were a few new cracks in the plaster? Listen, as far as cracks in the plaster are concerned... Yes, I can hold, Carl.
How soon?
Hmm?
How soon?
Monday. Now, look. Carl, look, this is tough. I mean, those teachers are overloaded now. I can't say yes to a thing like this. At least give me a chance to come down and yell at you in person. Now, wait a minute, Carl. Don't say it's final. Well, of course I don't want to dump them in the streets, Carl. This is terrible. Well, if there's no other way, what else? Oh, I don't want to hear you say thank you, Carl. I want to hear you say, I owe you one, Seymour. Let me hear it. I owe you one, Seymour. That's right, and it better be a beauty, Carl. There's a lot of things this school needs, especially now. Carl, let me put you on a hold. Forever.
Good morning, Mr. Kaufman. Don't you love these mornings now that the days are getting longer? It's good not to have to turn the lights on when you get up. You know, the real advantage is the extra time I have to work on my lesson plans.
Excuse me.
Take today's lesson plan, for example. Hey, you're not really interested in my lesson plan, are you?
Oh, well, I'm sorry. What were we saying?
Are you adding more students to the class, Mr. Kaufman?
Oh, no, I was just bored, and it was either move the furniture or change my hairstyle.
You're adding students to the class.
Mr. Kaufman, there will be more of us students in here.
You're a good boy, Richie.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning. Don't forget, 12 o'clock.
Right. Oh, get your racket restrung, because I don't want any excuses when I think it's said.
My racket? I was going to give you a break and play with my mandolin.
Oh, while I'm beating you, I'll explain about those extra chairs.
Well, it should be an interesting day.
What this country needs is 2 cars in every garage and 2 desks for every student.
Man, I told you, leave these desks together in the dark all night, and this kind of thing will happen.
What's this all about, Mr. Dixon?
I don't know. Miss Johnson?
Oh, Mr. Kaufman and I were discussing it a while ago.
And?
Well, he told me we were getting some new students.
Man, pretty soon they're gonna have you teaching in a stadium with a bullhorn.
You might be right, Jason.
5 new cherubs in every class. 5!
What started all this?
Rezoning, that new King Arthur housing development.
The one with the floating moat?
With our luck, there won't be a crocodile in it. We get everything east of Prince Valiant Way.
That's not all you're getting. Tonight's PTA night, remember? They're not going to like this either.
Oh, that's right. I forgot all about that. Oh, I'm just going to have to think of some way to sneak it past them, that's all.
I don't know. What about the Teaching Standards Committee?
Oh, the Teaching Standards Committee, the vigilantes. Look, this thing is already settled. It's an irrevocable, unchangeable decision. Now, what good is it going to do to get the PTA all souped up about it? All that's going to do is cut into my workday with irate calls and seeing parents. Not to mention the fact that there's always a couple of nuts with a drink or two in them that want to call my house 11, 12 o'clock at night.
Well, it may be an irrevocable decision, but I still think the committee will want to talk about it.
Who's the new chairman?
Pete Dixon.
Pete? Good old Pete?
Well, you may know a good old Pete I don't. The one I know was pretty sore about the size of his class last September.
Oh, don't worry about Pete. Pete is no problem. Well, there's one good thing about the PTA. Trouble can only come from one of two sources. Parents and teachers.
That's set. You can't win them all, man. Don't you have some studying to do? Sure hurts to lose to a guy with nothing but dink shots and high lobs.
I don't know what you're complaining about. I'm the one with a fantastic win record, remember? But you flashy types get to endorse all the tennis rackets. There's no justice.
That's okay. I want another crack at you tomorrow. And no more of this lunch hour time limit stuff either. After school. Sun's better, too.
I'm yours. 4 o'clock. Actually, I was going to throw the game today to put you in a good mood.
If it's about those 5 desks in my room, you can put me in a good mood by telling me we're going to use them for firewood.
You know, Pete, you don't start out as a principal. I was a teacher myself for quite a while. I know how difficult a big class can be.
A big class, yes, but this is impossible.
I know, but believe me, there's nothing that can be done about it. There's no point in fighting it.
If you don't fight it, then you're handing out diplomas that don't mean anything. Pieces of paper that say that the kids have got an education. And they don't have one when classes get that big.
Pete, how long have you known me? I feel the same way about this thing as you do. But there's nothing I can do about it. It's over. Now, look, let me get down to what I've been building up to all along anyhow. I understand you're the new head of the Teaching Standards Committee. I want to ask you to cool it for me at the PTA tonight. I mean, let me just kind of brush through it. There's no point in getting the parents all fired up.
But that's what the PTA is all about. To help the learning process any way it can.
Pete, I'm trying to tell you, the decision is made. It's all over. I know when I can't win. Now, if your committee brings down the parents on my head for the next 2 or 3 weeks, I don't see how that can help the learning process. Do you?
Can go through.
I didn't let it. It's way better. Now, I hate to put it on. As a personal favor, I'm asking you to help me out. Let me do it.
It's asking an awful lot.
If it was a little, I wouldn't have to ask. Think about it.
You imagine what I thought?
That one's cream, no sugar.
Oh, thank you, dear. I mean, there were all those empty desks, and I just stood there. I just stood there and looked.
Sugar only.
Oh, thank you, Al.
I'm 3 more than I'm supposed to already, right? Well, and you know, I don't have one of those more...
You're too modest. I never have any trouble hearing you.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I think it's serious. I only hope something can be done about it. 1 or 2 extra... 5?
Good evening.
Oh, hi, Mr. Turner.
Oh, Turner, how are you? We're discussing this outrage.
One thing, the furnace bill will go down. Lots more body heat.
Now, listen, this thing is no laughing matter. I simply can't teach a class that big.
Wouldn't you know, tonight we'd have a big turnout. I hope you understood why I had to ask you that this afternoon.
I was just talking to some of the teachers. They're pretty angry.
I know. That's why I'm not going to begin until they're a little less angry and a little more sleepy. Oh, Mrs. Ruiz. Mrs. Ruiz, I want to talk to... Excuse me, Pete. I want to talk to you.
You just have to volunteer for committees, huh?
I was thinking the same thing.
See you later.
Downtown knows if there isn't any outcry, they've gotten away with it.
They've got the kids. What are they supposed to do with them?
Oh, but if we don't let this thing happen, then they'll be forced to find a better way.
Pete, you're chairman of our Teaching Standards Committee. You do plan to say something, don't you?
Ladies, gentlemen, please take your seats.
Let's just see what happens.
They said the situation is only temporary.
But how long is temporary?
May I say something? That's exactly what they told us many years ago when they added 3 pupils to my class. My class of 23 students.
Miss Ogilvy objected, stating that, quote, Walt Whitman is not a prison, unquote. Mr. Sanderson made a motion, and it was decided by a vote of 67 to 48 to form a bar committee which will study
As
the
soon as they
evidence
lapse
and
into the
make a
twilight
report.
zone, that's my chance.
However, the bar committee was tabled when only Mr. Sanderson volunteered, and the meeting was adjourned. Refreshments consisted of a delicious cupcake assortment and a punch with a frozen fruit juice base. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Jackson. And now, unless anyone has anything else to take up, it's getting late, and I think we have already Oh, Mr. Kaufman?
I just have a little thing, something that came up today. You all know that new housing development, the King Arthur, whatever it is. Well, it's caused serious overcrowding in the school that would normally take their students. So, unfortunately, we're going to have to take a few of their people just for the present time. But you'll all get an explanation of this thing in the mail.
Mr. Kaufman.
Mr. Dixon?
We all know that the classrooms are already overcrowded. I think we should strongly oppose the addition of any more students.
Yeah, let's do something about it. He's right. How can the board do this to us?
I don't know how the rest of you parents feel, but I'm against it. It's got to stop sometime.
Listen, Mr. Kaufman, my taxes are high enough. If you school people didn't waste money on unnecessary things, we wouldn't have to cram a whole mess of kids into one room.
How are we going to maintain the standards of this school? The next thing you know, they'll bring in double-decker desks.
There is only so much that can be done about this thing. There aren't enough classrooms. They're planning to build more.
Oh, Mr. Kaufman, they've been planning to build more for a long time.
Mr. Dixon, what's the point of all of this? The classrooms just aren't there, so what's this all about?
Well, if we don't fight this, we'll never get those classrooms.
Look, everybody, it's getting late, and this isn't getting us anywhere. I'm sorry about it all. Thank you and good night.
Maybe I call this one memorable PTA meeting.
Pete, you were fantastic. I mean, you presented your case so well that by the time you were finished, there wasn't one person in this room that didn't agree with you. Except Mr. Kaufman, of course.
It was rough on him, wasn't it?
Oh, no, I'm sure he loved every minute of it.
I think I'd better go talk to him and explain. See you. Mr. Kaufman! Mr. Kaufman? Can I speak to you a minute? I hope you understand about this.
No, I don't understand. I don't understand at all. We're still going to get those extra students, but thanks to what you did tonight, we're also going to get anger, frustration, and dissension. That's not good for this school.
But I had no choice.
Well, the way I look at it, what you did tonight was a pretty rotten thing. Once in a while, when you're in a jam, you look to a friend to help you out. I thought that's what I was doing.
But this isn't the kind of thing that you can put on a friendship basis.
Oh. It's a basis I thought we were on. I guess I was wrong.
How do you like that? He just went right off the deep end. He didn't even listen to what I was saying. A rotten thing. Just because for once I didn't go along with him. Well, what do you think?
I think I'll keep my mouth shut until you cool off.
You know what I should have said? I should have said if I hadn't done some other rotten things, we'd have half-day sessions by now.
Look, I'm going in now.
If we do things his way, the next thing I know, I'll have to get permission from him to say good morning to my class.
See you tomorrow.
What do you expect me to do? Just sit there?
Good night, Pete. Go home and get some sleep.
I'm not sleepy.
Get some sleep anyway.
Yes, sir. No, I expect him very soon. Yes. Just a minute. Mr. Kaufman. Mr. Kaufman, that telephone is going crazy, and they all want to talk to you.
Refer them to Miss McIntyre, please. The polite ones. I'll take the angry but civil ones. Call the police on the obscene ones.
Yes, sir.
Bonnie. What's this? Mr. Nielsen?
Oh, he's the visual aids man. You promised you'd see him today.
Oh, that's right, that's right. Maybe 11 o'clock? Wait a minute. No, can't do 11 o'clock. Right after lunch?
And you promised Miss Barker you'd hear the Glee Club.
Oh, well, we can't miss out on that, can we? Is there anything else this afternoon?
Yes, tennis with Mr. Dixon at 4 o'clock.
Tell Mr. Nielsen, 4 o'clock, please.
That was our first debate. Here we were, a bunch of ghetto kids, right? We walk in, and they're all dressed up in suits and ties, and we look like a bunch of kids that just got through playing sandlot football.
What was your topic?
The affirmative. Is America spoiling its kids? They took one look at us, and they figured if we didn't win the cup, that we would take it anyway.
Here, Mr. Kaufman, sit here. I was just going to put in some time on the Dewey Truman campaign.
Sit down, Miss Johnson. I don't think Truman and Dewey need volunteers anymore.
No, I insist. Now, how would it look for the principal to roam around the cafeteria with no place to sit? Please, sit down before your macaroni and cheese gets cold. Okay?
Thank you, Miss Johnson.
I'll take your tray, okay?
That won't be necessary.
Oh, sure. Come on, let me take it for you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Mr. Kaufman, Pete was just telling us about his debut as a public speaker. And Mr. Dixon just fractures me.
Well, go on, Pete. Tell us the rest of it.
There's nothing.
Mr. Kaufman, what do you think of the macaroni and cheese today?
It's wonderful.
Good.
Hi. You ready?
Oh, you finished early. It's only 3:45.
Yeah. Let's go.
I can't. I'm stuck for at least a half hour with these remedial reading scores.
Can't you put them off?
No.
Okay. I'll wait.
My writing doesn't bother your pacing, does it?
No. No.
What's the matter?
Nothing.
You're still upset, aren't you?
I am not upset. Hurry up.
It's a long time to stay mad.
I'm not mad. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking I acted like an idiot today at lunch, right?
Well, it was.
He could have broken the ice. He's always making jokes. You could have said something funny about the food or something.
Maybe it didn't feel so funny.
Hurry up and get finished so we can get out of here.
Sure. You do. I mean, how long are you going to go around like this?
I'm not the only one that's doing it.
Well, you said it. Kaufman's acting the same way.
Let's not forget who started it.
Do you know who? I don't. I don't even know who's right. I was in Kaufman's office when he was on the phone trying to keep Whitman from getting those extra kids. I heard him. He did everything he could.
I guess we really want the same thing, don't we?
Of course you do.
And it really doesn't matter who started it, does it?
That's how it's going to end. Somebody's got to start talking to somebody.
Do me a favor, will you?
Sure. What?
Do a little work.
You ready?
Ready.
Hi, Pete.
Oh, hi, Alice.
Do you want to go on reading, or can we talk?
Oh, you want to talk to me about something?
I have an enormous amount of respect for you, not only as a teacher, but as a person.
Gee, that's a very nice thing for you to say, Alice.
And I can't stand to see you fighting with Mr. Kaufman.
Look, Alice, it's all over.
Oh, Pete, don't say that. You two have had a really wonderful relationship. Now, if you'll just make the effort to work it out.
Hi, Pete.
Oh, hi, Mr. Kaufman.
Just checking if you want to lose at tennis again today.
How's 4 o'clock?
I think I'll let you use 2 rackets today.
Now, isn't that better?
What do you mean?
Well, doesn't it make a lot more sense for the two of you to be getting along and talking to each other? You're such good friends and you agree on almost everything. I'm glad I came in and had this talk with you.
I'm glad you did too, Alice.
After all, human relationships are just a matter of working things out. If you take the time, everything falls into place. It's just a matter of give and take, and sometimes you have to give a little more.